We are speaking with Alberto Nosè. He's a famous pianist and also a member of a jury.
Thank you very much.
In a competition in Szafarnia. Please tell me, what do you think about the competition? What kind of level do the young people represent?
Well, but I have to say it's the second year that I'm here in the competition, and I was quite surprised how much basically improvement young kids, young musicians can basically have a lot of potential basically to succeed even in piano competition, also with difficult program like the one that is requested in this competition, because Chopin music, we all know that is quite demanding music even for young kids. And the level, I have to say that we are always every year surprised, especially for the youngest category, that we can hear lots of talents, and it's quite unbelievable, at a very small age what the potential and the possibilities that basically they can get. And it's not a question of practicing only, because a young kid when he's 8 or 9, I can see that they have a lot of intuition in music, and that is basically it's a very important part. That now when you get older, maybe you lose a little bit of this, and it's something that basically me, like basically older pianists, basically regret of the childhood. When you have intuition, when you have without knowledge, but basically you feel a kind of sensation, in the music.
This is kind of my next question about it. Tell me, when you are as a jury, what is the most important to you when you judge young people? It is the technique is the most important thing? I don't think so.
Well, not only. Well, of course, from young pianists, you request that basically the basics of piano playing should be okay. At least, I would like to see, that basically a good job from the very basic point of view is done. And because there are some fundamentals of piano playing that basically that you cannot avoid, you cannot skip. It's something that you have to deal with immediately when you start playing the piano, because you have to kind of learn the vocabulary of music. A vocabulary, but it's not only a technical thing, it's not a physical exercise, but also it's an exercise of the mind, of the feelings also. Even the feelings should be basically trained, in my opinion. And but the first thing that basically everybody try to get from somebody that is on the stage and is playing is basically emotion. It's basically emotion and content of music, because music should be considered not like a work but like a kind of pleasure, like a kind of way of express feelings, and it's a kind of language. And basically what we are searching for is that this language is as clear as possible, that basically gets to the people in a very clear way, and that's, in my opinion, the most important thing.
Someone told that the music is a breath of God, speaking to human soul. It's a speech of God, and musicians are closer to the God creator than anybody else. What do you think about music?
I think there's a kind of it's a primitive language in some ways, music, because you see, before the verbal communication, if you see basically, if you study history, people in millions of years ago, but they were starting doing sounds, on big things, on stone with wooden things, wooden sticks. So it's a kind of very primitive also form of communication, more than the word. And so I think that's the biggest power of music, that connects all people together from all over the world. And for me, this is the big potential of music. Well, I think basically the personal insight, that they get into the music is something that makes the difference between pianists. And of course, they are, as you said, a good performance. That playing has improved so much lately, So we have a lot of, stimulation. You have videos, we have internet. So we have a lot of, ways of, getting knowledge how it is basically the piano playing and the style. But but I think from the very early age you can get, if in a performance you can hear something that comes in a very unique form from the soul of the pianist, and it's something basically that basically gets to you very clearly, because he has his own way of talking to you, through the music, and you can even distinguish that it's not something given by the teacher. It's not like the teacher that told me to do this, so I do like this, because music should not be a repetition but a reproduction of what we have, but should be something always very fresh, very new, and that's basically something individual, but not like a photocopy of something, because when we play many times, the problem and the risk is to have many times photocopy. I did this piece once, so I have to repeat, I repeat, but it's never the same. And it's very important basically to give this knowledge, this information to a student, especially when he's younger. Because it's something, young students are like sponges, they absorb everything you give to them. They learn everything from you, and so that's.
But they need also a freedom.
They should have freedom, but the problem is that we don't have to impose. I'm talking as a teacher. We don't have to impose our freedom, but we have basically to understand and to let them deal with their own freedom. And they have to find their own, basically, it's like to give them a jacket that is not their size. No, they have to find comfortable in the qualities, in the possibilities they have. And it's something natural.
About the competition, in your opinion, what do you think? What is the purpose, or what is the meaning of that kind of competition for young people?
Well, it's in any case, it's a very good way basically to improve, the knowledge of music, and also the love for this, kind of art. That lately, we are living in more and more difficult times where the space for culture, I have an example even in my country, in Italy, that we give less and less space, for what is the most important thing, more than economy, more than politics, more than money. But basically education, because it's part of our cultural background, also music. You have a big basically tradition here with Chopin music, so and basically it's something that basically I guess every country basically is envy of this, of Poland, for the name of Chopin, for these wonderful masterpieces he wrote.
So you tell about the time. This is now there is a time of technological progress, and everything moves faster and faster. So what is in the time the biggest challenge for young musicians and for our teachers?
Well, technology, if you refer about young people are basically. I see even my students, they like the technology very much, because it's a new way of communication. And so in some ways, music and piano playing can be a little bit, out of the style, out of the normal trend of, because piano is it's a piece of wood, it's nothing technological. But it's absolutely fundamental to give them the importance, to teach them the importance that technology goes faster and changes, but but art, like music, like literature, that basically talks about human feelings. Music is basically the history of human being. So because the love we feel is the same love that Chopin felt, because we are all human beings, and this is something that they should basically always keep into consideration.
The last one question: how do you think why people love Chopin and his music?
Because it's very immediate music, and it gets straight to the basically soul of people, and he did, in my opinion, a big basically mixture of simplicity in language. Because if we say even the scores of Chopin, the music, the papers, and his music is very clear. It's like Mozart. It's very transparent, and but the personal insight and the personal characteristic that basically are behind these simple notes is something absolutely special, something absolutely unusual, and I think it's a quality that was never repeated by any other composer. Because sometimes, some composers relates with complexity of feelings, also with complexity of music, but sometimes a very deep feeling can be expressed with very few notes, and Chopin is absolutely the master in this.
And who is your favorite composer?
Well, Chopin is, let's say, one of my favorites. I don't want basically to just to have the
I
same
don't expect
respect.
to say you say
No,
Chopin.
absolutely, but I have the same respect to every composer, because I think every pianist, every composer like Chopin basically had something important, something very significant to say. And absolutely, we are talking about human beings, And if we see the cultural background of Chopin, like many other composers, like Liszt, like Beethoven, like Mozart, they have a kind of history, a kind of series of events that basically affected life. So it's very interesting to take care and to be curious to know everyone.